I am back in Ruka. I guess this is the start of a new episode as come along with me as a tour guide in Lapland. The next 2 weeks I will be spending in Ruka on the flavors trip of Asteria, and then the next 2 weeks I will be in Ruka still, but doing the program that I do mostly and that I love a lot. Anyways, I've checked in alone for the first time ever because my group will only arrive on Wednesday. So that means I'll be on ice for 2 days, quite literally, because I think I'm going to try the ice diving again because they have it just on offer here at the hotel. Not even on offer, it's free. So I might take advantage of that to enhance my ice diving skills. But first, it is time to go and grab myself some instant noodles. I can already see that I have a little kettle, that's what it's called. So yeah, I need to go get some groceries to get through the next 2 days, and then I'm going to call my family, my best friend, and yeah, just get settled in. This is the room I have. The lake should be out there. I have 2 beds. Bacon has made himself comfortable. I have a small fridge, a dryer, and then I should have my own bathroom. Aha, there we go. I needed the key card to turn on the electricity. So now it looks like this. Much better.
In the evening, I got to enjoy an a la carte dinner at the hotel restaurant, which is really cozy and overlooks the lake. Since I never get to have pizza in Lapland, I had to take advantage of it. In the morning, I woke up to an incredible view from my room. There is a popular cross-country ski track on the lake. I started the day well with a good breakfast and ended up working in my room for most of the day, having my noodles for lunch, and in the evening I had 2 more delicious dinners. Just eat, work, sleep, repeat. Pretty much. It is Wednesday, which means I am picking up the new group after 2 days spent in my room, catching up on some other work, some series, and also having some noodles and enjoying some food at the restaurants. So, I have been recharged, and now it's time to go get the people and get another group started. This is going to be a program that I've never done, so there are some new elements to it which will make it extra nice and extra exciting. I called myself a taxi to the airport where I picked up my group before taking them to lunch and the equipment pickup.
Alright, we had lunch and we got the suits, and now we have checked into the hotel. I was already checked in, obviously, but now we are going on a little orientation walk in Ruka city center. Ruka, I definitely prefer to Levi in that it is more cozy, but it doesn't have much nightlife compared to Levi.
Once we arrive in the village, I show everyone around the big souvenir shop to share which products are authentically Lappish. There are a lot of products made of berries, especially the Lappish Gold, the cloudberry. Finnish people are also big fans of licorice, so they sell lots of it. And you can also find knives, souvenirs made of reindeer antlers, and wood, of course.
Alright, the tour is done, and I also did some shopping, got some groceries, and now I have a few hours off before dinner tonight.
The dinners the rest of the week were fixed, but nonetheless delicious. You're probably wondering how I stay healthy with all this food for weeks, but that's what the next few days are for.
It is a beautiful frosty day, and we are going to the Husky farm now to go on a Husky safari, and then we'll have lunch and do some ice fishing in the afternoon. It is nice and frozen outside. Finally, the temperatures have dropped again after it was way too hot last week. So, ready to go.
Once we made it to the Husky farm, we got the necessary instructions and I climbed on the back of the guide's snowmobile because the group was even, so I couldn't join them in the sledge. We then set off on the shorter trip of 10 stunning kilometers. Afterwards, the puppies came out to play and we had coffee with a treat before heading to lunch elsewhere. After lunch, we were picked up again for our next activity of the day. We found a good spot on the lake and started drilling some holes in the ice, but not manually for once. I then made sure everyone had the right technique and also that their holes stayed ice-free. And it was a huge success because my 6 clients caught 7 fish. The temperature was dropping, and as the sun set, my hair was getting more and more frozen. We have made it back to the hotel and we had such an amazing first day, full of great activities, and with the sun out and the beautiful sunset, it was just the perfect day. We caught more fish than there were people also ice fishing. And seeing as it was already quite late in the day, I think that's very impressive. But yeah, it was a successful day. Now we have another dinner planned, and then I think everyone's gonna go to bed quite early today. Unless there is a chance of northern lights, which we'll have to see. I found out that 2 of the 3 adults in my group were turning 50 within a week of the trip. So obviously I had to decorate the table before having another incredible dinner at the hotel. The next day we picked up our helmets and balaclavas and we set off on our snowmobile ride to the reindeer farm. The sun was out and so was its rainbow halo around it. The sun is honestly the creator of all magic here. After 20 kilometers on the snowmobile, I was absolutely freezing. We arrived to a new reindeer farm that I had never been before. Unfortunately, we got all the information and instructions outside, so we didn't get a chance to warm up, and I was counting down the seconds for the reindeer sledge ride to be over. It turned out that I had a virus a few days later, so my body was just struggling more than usual at this point. We then headed to the feeding fence where we got to treat the little ones to some delicious moss. They go crazy over this stuff. Reindeer are the cutest, you guys. I love the reindeer farms so much, but this one not as much as the one we'll see later on. We headed inside the kota, finally, where I got to heat up by the fire, and we got some lunch before having a look at the beautiful locally made arts and crafts in the souvenir shop. You can even take home some reindeer meat. Right, we have visited the reindeer farm and it was nice. It was a new farm that I hadn't been to yet, but I did see some familiar faces from earlier years that are now working here, so that was nice. And now we have another hour, maybe an hour and a half to go back to the safari house with the scooters. It has been so cold today. Oh my goodness. Our transfer left quite late, so I was unsure if we would be able to make it into town in time to go up the ski hill for the sunset. As we finally got closer, the sky was starting to turn incredible colors while we were still stuck on the bus to drop other people off in Ruka Valley. However, I knew what time the sun was setting and we rushed to make it up in time, and boy was it worth it. We managed to catch the most amazing sunset of the entire season just in time. Oh my goodness, that was a mission, but it was so worth it. And we made our way down along the ski trails, but on the side behind the blue sticks, kind of. And then we came back along the lifts towards our hotel, and we did take some shortcuts, just sliding on our bum through the snow off the hill to make our way down. And it was, yeah, just really nice. And it was a good example of what it is like without snowshoes, because tomorrow we have the snowshoe excursion, so then they will see what it's like
not to sink as deep into the deep snow. Now, some early northern lights were predicted, and I am gonna get ready for the restaurant dinner as well. A dinner I've never had before. But yeah, it's been a day full of things that I've never done before. That's always nice because it is my 4th winter, so you would think that I've done it all, but still I can find new things to do and experience them with the people for the first time. So yeah, that's fun. Tomorrow, like I said, snowshoe walking and another special dinner. The snowshoe walk tomorrow is also somewhere I've never been before. It's Oulanka National Park, and it is one of probably the most famous national park around Ruka. So it'll be fun to go and explore that as well.
But first we went to our first special dinner, which I would say is the best dinner in Ruka. It takes place in a beautiful cozy setting with lots of local delicacies as appetizers, of which the cloudberry jam with the cheese is a Lappish favorite of mine. Our main dish was salmon cooked by the fire, and the dessert was an experience for all our senses. The next day, like I said, we headed to Oulanka National Park for our snowshoe walk. Oulanka is one of the most popular national parks in Finland. It has a unique river ecosystem made up of pine forests, deep river canyons with sandy banks and rapids that are perfect for rafting in the summer. I will let these clips do the talking. Endangered species such as the bear, the lynx, and the wolverine also find their home in Oulanka, along with moose and other game. The most well-known Finnish trekking route, the Karhunkiros, or the Big Bear Path, is 80 kilometers long and is accessible all year round. The Pieni Karhunkiros, which is the Small Bear Trail, is a loop of 12 kilometers in this specific part of the park. Along the way, you can find cabins that can be used free of charge by any hikers in the area. But you do have to follow some basic guidelines and rules regarding the state of the cabins, the wood supply, and protecting the surrounding nature. We had lunch at the camping place in front of the frozen waterfall. Here, the Siberian jays came to grab a bite as well.
Wow, Oulanka National Park is so stunning, and I'm glad I'm here with Angela because she's such an amazing guide and she's so passionate about the place as well. This is definitely the best snowshoe walk I've ever done, simply because the landscape is so different to anywhere else.
The highlight of the park, especially in wintertime, is the Millikoski, the old watermill and hanging bridge looking out over the eddy that is filled with ice pancakes, another unique phenomenon. Definitely try to spot this little ice diver when you're there.
My hair looks a bit crazy, but oh my goodness, what an amazing day. How beautiful was Oulanka National Park? I'm so glad I finally got to experience it. It has been a banging 3 days. The men are now off to go fat biking and the women are skiing. I have a few hours off, and then we are off to have our final dinner with the group, and then tomorrow drop them off at the airport, pick up the next group. Wow. I can't believe that I get to do this all over again next week.
Our last dinner was once again full of local ingredients. I don't believe I've ever eaten spruce or birch, but both found ways to add the local tree.
All right, it is now week number 5. So I've done the first programs in and around Levi, and now I've just done the first one in Ruka, and I am back in the lodge in my lovely room for the second program in Ruka, which is the one that I usually do. So it feels like coming home. It feels like, why haven't I been here all this time?
The lodge we stay in is located on the banks of the biggest lake in the area. Its main unique selling point is definitely the big cozy living room, a huge private sauna and jacuzzi looking out over the lake. We can walk onto the lake in the evenings if there is any northern lights to be spotted. But this year was pretty shit, not gonna lie. And then this is my private room that the Wi-Fi unfortunately doesn't really reach.
Anyways, we are back. I've gone to pick up the clients. We have had lunch, picked up the gear. I've done a whole welcome thing, showed them around the place, given them their welcome drink and presents. And then we've been for a walk to just orientate them around the area here.
There are glass villas and snow igloos in the area that people always love to have a look at. We passed by the sauna and ice dive hole where I did the sauna experience with a group to start off the year. We all got our own sauna hats, there were snacks, and we were guided through an authentic wood-fired Finnish sauna experience with ice dives.
Now they are off to go and play in the snow a bit more, and I am going to get this place ready. I need to stock the fridge, get everything back into place because there hasn't been a group here before me, and I need to get everything ready to go for 2 weeks.
In the evening, I set out some crisps and nuts before digging into a local dinner buffet. On our first day of activity, we went in on the breakfast buffet so we could have plenty of energy for our snowshoe hike. This is another one of the best snowshoe hikes in Lapland. This is my favorite special place. I don't know, I just feel the magic of Pyhavaara, the holy mountain, every single time I do a snowshoe hike there. And this time we went up to the very top, which was my first time ever going all the way to the top. And we had a beautiful clear sky and we could see all the way to Russia. It was so super special, and we ended up at the Kota to have our lunch. When we did it the second week, we also went up to the top, but it looked very different because it was very cloudy. But instead of going back to the Kota, we actually had our picnic lunch on top of the hill, which was also very special. The end and start of the year are my favorite time though, because Camels is in full swing and the sky turns purple, pink and peachy colors. This golden hour lasts extra long here because the many ice particles in the air reflect the light extra long. This is Lapland at its most magical.
I just appreciate this place and snowshoe walking more every single time. Now we will have a special dinner tonight.
Everyone is always a huge fan of this elaborate raclette dinner.
It is day 2 of the activities, and today we are going snowmobiling with ice fishing. So 30 kilometers on the scooters and then hopefully catching some fish as well.
If you get lucky, like we did at the start of the year, you might spot the lynx trails along the snowmobile track. This is so unique. We stopped at a beautiful viewpoint and the guides also showed off their new kota that they had built before continuing the ride. We made it back and had a great lunch, with dessert of course, and headed to the lake for some ice fishing.
Today it is time to go back to my favorite reindeer farm of all time. I love this place so much, honestly. The people here are just like family. We go there by snowmobile, 25 kilometers to get there and 25 back. During the second week we even got stopped by the police and we had to do an alcohol check. There's a first time for everything.
After 25 kilometers we arrived at my favorite reindeer farm. The boys were already waiting to take the clients for a spin. I love that they just go at their own pace here. We have lunch in the kami, the best reindeer soup ever, while I explain all about the farm and the reindeer. Ending with visiting the little ones with some moss, of course. We then got back on the snowmobiles for the 25-kilometer ride back to the lodge, and in the evening we went to the restaurant for a Lappish feast. The week wouldn't be complete without another husky sledge ride. For the other groups it was 20 kilometers each time, and I did get to take place in the sledge and even take over the wheel a few times. The week program has 2 days off, so I would do some shopping if it was necessary and drop off the clients at their extra activities. I would usually lunch by myself, and on the last evening we have a special dinner, which is extra yummy. And I created a quiz for a group that wanted one, which was a great ending.
On the last day of our week or tour, I need to take inventory. And I will write down how much is left of every single kind of beverage or even the food. And especially for the final tour, it is extra important that I check all the expiry dates so that whatever will stay good can stay here, but whatever won't definitely has to be donated.
Then it is time to head to the airport to either do a drop-off and pick up in between the groups, or I join them to go home and make sure that everyone is checked in and makes it on the flight. This is not that difficult at one of the smallest airports in the world. Once we land, I say goodbye to everyone at the luggage belt, head to our taxi driver who drops off all the guides. Usually I'm the last one, so it's another 2 hours at least once we leave the airport to make it home. Once I made it, I had to baptize my traditional kuksa that I was gifted by one of the groups.